thought to twist in. We're good. Alrighty, so today I'll be showing you my top 3 favorite gimbal movements. Alright, so the first one is the orbital push in and then push back out. Okay, so with this shot, we want to start a little bit further away from our subject, and essentially we want to push in, we want to orbit around them, and then we want to come back and we want to end the shot where we originally started. So this is a super unique shot that is actually really good to get a bit more interesting of a subject that is often a little more static. So if your subject is static and not really moving around too much, this is a great one to orbit around them and come back to where you were started, and it just adds a bit more interest into the frame. This will also work a million times easier if you do your best to try and keep the subject within the center of the frame. So the easiest way to make this happen is to turn the grid settings in your camera on and ensure your subject stays within the middle, and use that as a good reference point. So this next shot is a basic tracking shot, but we've just sort of spiced it and flared it up a bit to really take it to the next level and make it come to life. What I like to do when I'm shooting any tracking shot of a subject is, whether it's from the front, the behind, or the side, is to keep my pacing the same as the subject. I want to try and match the movements, the steps, and the pacing of my subject. So you want to do your best to try and sync your steps in line with the subject's steps as well. If you're just starting out, it's best to just try and keep your subject in the center of the frame. As you get more comfortable with this exercise, try placing your subject within different thirds of the frame. And once you're finally comfortable with that, you can even try watching your subject leave the frame and exiting. It always looks pretty cool, and you see it in movies all the time. Another tip to ensure this works well is keeping the same distance from your subject the entire time you're tracking them. If you're not syncing your steps the best with your subject, another alternative is to just mark out the distance between you and your subject. An easy way is to just mark 10 steps back away from your subject and ensure you maintain that same amount of distance of 10 steps while you're shooting and tracking it. These are really great for walking or running shots, and I've used these personally myself. You also would have seen these in a bunch of movies. My third favorite gimbal shot is called the crane shot, which effectively simulates that what they would use in a traditional Hollywood movie with their crane. Essentially, this means that the frame would start low and finish high, or vice versa. However, this shot is actually a lot harder than it seems. Firstly, you want to change your gimbal to underslung mode. This will allow you to get as close as possible to the ground without completely going up your back. Thereafter, you simply want to track the subject as low as possible. For example, I would use my subject's feet and slowly come up to eventually reach their face or the back of their head, or whatever your subject may be. This is a really dynamic shot, and it's a really great way to reveal a character or a new scene. Lastly, before I go, try putting all of these shots together and combine them to see what you can come up with, and you get some really creative Hollywood looking shots. However, in saying that, the 3 shots I have shown you here today are my favorite and the ones I often use the most. So that's all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and of course follow me on Instagram to see the behind the scenes of all these shoots and videos that I do. And until next time, stay golden.